Hello, welcome to the first episode. Wow, this is actually the first episode because we missed the recording one with the other person. But welcome to Winter Talks, where we talk about some crazy stuff to crazy people. Hello, this is the very first episode of this little series here. I'm going to be talking to several people throughout many creative scenes. My name is Winter. I'm the host. I probably should have said that before I even started with anything else, but who cares? We're just going off the cuff and doing whatever. So, I'm Winter, and with me, joined, is the god of mischief herself, the Raven Queen, Miss Chaos. We have Trixie, also known as LKCorvus. How you doing?
El Horso.
God fucking damn it. Okay. No, how you doing?
I'm alive.
Being alive
I
is
have
good?
I had Mellow Yellow today for the first time in a minute. That was pretty dope.
Oh, fun. No Fago?
No, I did not. I thought about getting Fago. I was right across the street from where I go, and I chose to come back here and get this done because it was more important.
Oh, I'm more important than Fago? I mean, that's like objectively not true, but alright. Um,
False, lies, slander to yourself.
slander? More like truth, baby.
No,
Self
that's literally like
deprecation is my second language.
slander is literally like saying shit that isn't true.
I
Okay.
don't know.
Uh,
Okay, so
We
I
had
have
we had
a
an agenda at some point.
yeah, I have a list of topics for you.
Mhm.
And as today is July 8th of 2024, people know what literally just released on my channel today, and it perfectly coincides with the very first question I have on here. Um Actually, but before we start that, we should probably tell people what it is that you do necessarily. What do you do in the creative scene?
El Horso. No, you have already featured me on the channel before once for the first half of my mashup project, Butthead. You were a you left a glowing review of Butt that I greatly appreciate. And by the time this drops, you will have also released your head reaction, which I actually still haven't seen yet.
Yes.
Um, so that's a thing. But the other thing, like statistically speaking, more people do know about El Horso, which is a beautiful, wonderful little nightmare that uh, some friends and I wove together and unleashed upon the world as plague is, I guess, maybe the word.
So literally the first topic I have on our little list here is a simple question. Why Horso?
Now,
Just why? What on earth happened? Like I know the Cliff's Notes backstory about what the hell this thing is, but I don't know the full version of just what the hell this thing is.
so okay, the thing about Horso, actually, really quick, let me. My levels would look like they were really high visually. Let me just adjust that. Okay, we can cut this out. um, the thing about the question of why, and I noticed that you had just like verbalized your distress as the question of why at several points during the video. And here's the basic thing about what the deal is with that. If you have to ask why, know that there are two answers. One, for the funny, and two, to make you ask why.
Okay.
The distress and the pain and all of that. That's the point. That's the whole point. if like that's true of anything, that's true of fucking foe and confusion. Please go, please go stream everything Photon does.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
that's true of like what else is funny? Um,
Ignoraven.
yeah, it's true, definitely true of that. That's true of like Siva Gunner. You know,
Yeah.
it's to get a reaction, no
Okay,
matter
that's
what it
fair.
is. But the actual story of how it happened. So, I was led into the mash pit in February of 2023, and the very night that that happened, uh, we were playing a little Jackbox. I was running Jackbox because I'm a big fan of Jackbox. I own all of them, and nobody else did. So I was like the de facto host of the event, and we were all playing, and we were playing. I begged to play Drawful because I love the drawing ones in general. Um, and we were playing with hi, my name is Shan, who is the reason that I got in at all,
Hmm.
and a very very dear sweet friend who you should definitely stream everything she's done as well. And we were playing, and she was not super excited about the drawing aspect of the game, and you might be able to piece together why in a moment, but she had a prompt that said donkey drawing, no, donkey drinking horchata. And she took that and created our son. And I looked at this and I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, I'm new in this scene. I want these people to like me, and I don't know why I'm thinking that because a lot of them already did. But I'm new in this scene. I know the kind of sense of humor that a lot of these people share. So I'm thinking, oh, Weezer's a hot thing to joke about right now. Maybe I should make this a Weezer joke somehow. And I'm just like running through a Rolodex of my extremely limited Weezer knowledge, and I think El Scorcho kind of rhymes with horse. El Horso. And that results in about 10 minutes of continuous laughter, especially from Photon, who, and Pho does this thing. Pho and I do this thing. We've established since we met that we're like the same person in two different fonts. And Pho
That
will,
tracks. That definitely
yeah,
tracks. Yeah.
it really does. Pho is like so close to a one-to-one match of my sense of humor. We're constantly, if we're on a VC, one of us is thinking a joke while the other one is saying it.
Hmm.
And she sees this joke that I make, and she will like just explode into laughter so much that the way that she's reacting to it becomes that much more funny to me, and then I have like a laughing fit so hard I can't breathe, and I have to like stand up and go into my corner just to recover from that. And El Horso was the strongest one of those nights. Uh, but yeah, everybody that was in the call just loved it so much, and it just immediately took over our vocabulary for the next several months. Um, and then like a bunch of us, we were uh like making YouTube accounts with El Horso on them to like bug Mia during her streams. And I was, just loving it. I was keeping it going as much as I could, as much as I had to keep this joke alive. At way past any point when a lesser person would have been, no, this joke is over. Kill it. Let it die. I would not let it die. I loved it so much. Um,
Yeah.
and like
Very
over the
clearly so.
and like over the course of that whole period, it it changed from like a a dumb joke that I made once about a goofy drawing that Mia made once to like a crystallized like monument to a moment of all of us bonding and all of us being great friends. And so like it meant so much more to me than all of that. So fast forward a couple of months, Mia and David Omario surprise drop a themed mashup project collaboratively called Weep, which is an EP about Weezer. And from what I understand, they're both like genuine Weezer fans, so their mission statement on that was make Weezer mashes that people aren't going to turn their noses up at just because it's Weezer, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, show people that there's genuine stuff about Weezer and the work that they do that is worth appreciating and enjoying. And I am not a Weezer fan, but I really respect that goal. But at the time, I was mostly just really mad. I was like, what the fuck is this? Why would you do this to me? Why would you make me suffer through this? Which I think is how a lot of people have been reacting to El Horso. But I look at I open my DMs and I look over at Pharaoh Lad, who you should definitely stream everything that he's ever done. And Pharaoh was like my main partner in crime during the like earliest days of Horso. He, the night that we made it, created a YouTube channel for it, uploaded the earliest thing on that channel. That's why he's credited in Horso and Zebro as the Horse social media manager.
Yeah.
Because he's the one that runs the channel. So I just like we have this moment where we're like we mind meld and we're like, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Yeah, I'm thinking what you're thinking. So we gathered together the rest of our council, which is at the time is just Photon and our boy Doug Salad. And
Love Doug.
we
Love Doug.
are, yeah, Doug's the fucking best. Oh my god. Like half of the best things about Zebro are all him. And you'll find out why. So we all get together and we're like, yeah, this has been an attack on us. Because I think that they actually used El Scorcho on Weep. And we were like, we have to take the power back.
Okay.
So we all get to work on that. And the fun thing about that is the reason that we have a reveal at the end of El Horso at all is because Mia didn't know who the fourth person was.
Oh, really?
She actually thought that it was going to end up being her now partner.
Really? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, we kept Doug's identity a secret from Mia the whole time. He played his part masterfully, didn't give the game away at all. It was just fantastic.
Well,
So
the fact that he was hidden for so long just proves that point for you.
yeah, for like a full month. Yeah, by the way, I want to point out the moment of El Horso's project conception happened in like early April, like the day that Weep dropped. We can probably track that stat. Tip to tail, the whole thing took us a full month to create together.
Okay.
And I just want to point that out because I know that you still have not seen El Zebro, and I want you to be aware that El Zebro took about 6 months to create.
You did say that Zebro took considerably longer. I have not listened to Zebro yet.
Yes, I'm trying to like set this up for you to be aware that Zebro is significantly better. I love El Horso for what it is, and I'm very glad that it's getting the love that it gets and the hate that it gets. Zebro is all the effort that we didn't put into El Horso, we did put into El Zebro. And that's not to say that we didn't put effort into El Horso. I personally put a lot of effort into making it sound as low effort as it did.
Oh yeah,
But Alzheimer's
it takes a significant amount of concentration to make something that objectively awful.
absolutely yes. There was so much attention that I put into every little detail of how to make it the most painful experience possible, because that's what it was. You know, it was a jokey revenge project.
Yeah.
It was born out of, in one moment, a desire to like playfully escalate perceived slight, but it was also just like, we want to make something that me and David are going to look at and laugh at and enjoy together, because
Absolutely.
because that's what it's really all about.
Yeah, I will say, as I said in one of the Discord text chats, it's not actually as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be so much worse than it was. I
I
mean,
honestly
don't
didn't know
I,
how you were going to react. I was really scared.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it still absolutely sucked ass. But I thought this was going to be more along the lines, as I said in my outro, along the lines of confusion, specifically volumes 3 and 4. Because I think we know that that was about the time when Alec started screaming at Photon to give him the aux cord
Of
and
course.
taking away the Bluetooth privileges.
Whereas now, instead of that, we get Alec taking CBD gummies.
Yes. Um, and now
I was very proud the first time I got one of those.
and nowadays it's confusion has gotten to a point where it's like, I know how bad it has been, and I don't think there's a way it can ever get that bad necessarily again.
Yeah, I think
So,
that Foe has improved a lot as a creator in general, but like the craft of confusion has been like on an upswing. I think 6 and 7 are really well put together, and like some of her strongest work as like a mega mix situation.
as
Like
meme
that,
material, I think they're the
yeah,
best things that Foe has done. Period.
absolutely. Well, okay,
Um,
I don't know about all together, because like there's a couple of those tracks on like JLR and on spoiler for you, but on Virtual Madness there's a couple real bangers.
okay, I am going to admit something here.
What's
Virtual
up?
Madness, out of the current projects, is the one singular project that I have already seen.
Oh,
I
okay.
have heard
Okay.
I
That's
have
fine.
heard Virtual Madness because I was in the stream when Alec was playing it.
Oh, that's right, because of what was in there before that.
Yes. Um
Am
I
I allowed to talk about that now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. You lent your voice to Bird Brain Radio and asked to remain uncredited.
Yes. Yes, that was a thing. I actually didn't put that in the subject list. We can talk about that now.
Okay, good, because I was very grateful for the voice takes that you provided. You are the first voice that people hear.
Yes,
You are the very
I
first thing.
I didn't think cuz I went into Bird Brain Radio like you had sent me, I believe, at least a somewhat early version. And when it
Mhm.
started, I was like, "Wait. That's my take." And
Yeah.
when I heard it
Yes.
again during Alec checking it out via stream, I was like, "Wait. My voice is still first."
You're still, yeah, you were still first. I used two of your takes.
Yeah, I
You
I
hadn't.
noticed that you used one of them in the beginning, and I believe one of them near the end.
Yeah, right toward the end, during that final bumper when I collected everyone's voice takes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I threw in a different one that you did. You did that weird, like, really like down here delivery.
Oh yeah, the bird brain radio. Yeah, yeah, that one.
which
That
is
one's
like
always
very
fun.
similar to what Doug ended up doing for the Joey Gerber character anyway.
Yeah,
And
I
I
remember
thought
that.
that meshed really well.
Yeah. But yeah, it was really cool to do that. As I've said to Trixie here, and what I'm gonna be saying to pretty much everybody if they want my voice for something, I don't want necessarily to be credited. I want the work that is done by the person who is doing it to be recognized, and me being there is simply a byproduct of that work. So that's why I don't really like to be credited. And if I am credited, it's normally something that I avidly say, no, you don't have to, you don't have to. But I mean, I suppose that's just a self deprecation thing. Again, it's my second language. Um, yeah.
I like you I kept trying to like backpedal you on that. I was like, I okay, but I could. And it would be so easy, and I really want people to like go onto your channel and see all the fun stuff that you do, because that is the whole point of the channel is for you to do stuff.
Yeah, crazy stuff.
It's crazy stuff, like El Horso.
Yes, like El Horso. But yeah, Bird Brain Radio. I actually didn't put that on the topic list, so I kind of want to ask about that. Where did the? I guess I know that it was supposed to be the filler content between butt and head, but how did the idea of that come about?
Yeah, I thought about just like throwing out a couple of those old demos that I was probably never going to fit anywhere else. Like a couple of those tracks were ideas that I had during the initial stages for Butt to be like interludes in place of the ones that got actually in, and they just didn't feel like the right fit to me, or like I wouldn't be able to finish them the way that I wanted to, and they were just kind of sitting there for a while, and I was like, I I think that if I do something creative with this, this could be a full project in and of itself.
Mhm.
So I guess in a way I was just recycling, just like
Okay, that makes
Frankensteining
sense.
my, yeah, just like Frankensteining my stuff together, and um, I don't remember exactly like where the idea for the whole radio bit came from. I wanted to do like, because like when I was sending it out to people, I treated it as like a mixtape. Like I referred to
Yeah.
it as a mashup mixtape because A, nobody ever calls them that, and B, I it didn't feel like it was somewhere between an EP and like a proper release, because like it's there's enough individual tracks on it that it would like make an album, but it's not that long. So
Yeah.
it was whatever. But I don't know, man. I loved radio. Like I was a big radio kid growing up, and I I just like am really into the whole aesthetic of radio of the 2000s and the crazy shit that would happen on it. And I unfortunately wouldn't have had like time or resources to like have Doug record like a full morning zoo kind of shit. Uh,
Yeah.
I would love to, if we do actually do a full BBR2, I would love to like cast more people and do like a proper like morning show kind of sketch like in the middle of it.
I would love to do that. Like if you have any part for me, I would love to join in number 2.
That that sounds great. I will keep that in mind.
And unfortunately, seeing as we're talking about it now, that means you kind of have to credit me, so never mind.
I will definitely credit you in the sequel if we do go that route.
Yeah.
Um, so let's see. Yeah, there were just a bunch of ideas that I had sitting around from like VCs with people. One of the tracks in there, I think, yeah, I think I was on with Libra when I was doing the terrible Rob Thomas two trucks one.
Yes, yes.
I think that's the oldest like project file that was in there. But like there were a couple other ideas that I had, like the SpongeBob Deltarune one. That was an idea that I had in like 2021. And then um Mia's favorite, Reluctantly Crouched, which absolutely was going to be on Butt if I could have. Um, that one, I had that idea as a joke in like 2018 or something,
Okay. Yeah,
and I just
Reluctantly
didn't have.
Crouched was one of the ones that honestly has still kind of stuck with me because it's actually a banger. Like
Yeah, I'm
I
really,
unironically love Reluctantly Crouched.
I'm really proud of the like. I'm really proud of the structure of it because a lot of the stuff about it, like the lyrics will like play into each other.
Hmm.
Like the sun has gone down and reluctantly crouched, and long ago somebody reluctantly crouched. I
Yes.
that was part of what made it so funny to me, like initially, and like oh my god, I the way that I came up with that was I was listening to this podcast and they were making jokes about Mr. Brightside. It was a bit about like just repeating the cage part over and over again. I was once in a cage and now I'm out of the cage. It was only a cage. It was only a
Yeah.
cage. Yeah. So I was just like, oh, this is my sense of humor now. I want to do this. And The Distance was the song that came to mind immediately. And I'm really glad that it's uh, gotten the positive reception that it has. I'm
Absolutely.
still
Yeah,
getting
it's
I'm still getting comments on BBR about people just like I want a sequel to this. And I'm like, I
yeah.
also want a sequel to this. I got some shit going on right now, but we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah. Yeah. Um Speaking of things that have recently happened, let's go through the process of because I really want to talk about this because it's so interesting to me. Let's talk about the process of Butthead because that collection is honestly one of the most entertaining things I've heard in the mashup scene. Period.
Thank you very much.
I think that yeah, let's talk about like I guess the original inception of the project itself because I want to go through it, but I think that's where we should start with that.
Yeah, so like I'm like a lot of y'all. I was a fan first. I was following the scene for a very long time. I was like deep entrenched in like 2013, 14 era SoundCloud. Like that's where a lot of my inspiration stems, and I'm sure that like people that were around there or contract on the stuff that I was listening to at the time. They could probably see that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then like when Siva Gunner started, I made the migration over there because like SoundCloud started being gross to people, and Steve Gunner was just, a lot of fun as well. Like very creative, very fun stuff going on, and always has
Yes.
been, like the whole time. Never stops being fun. Um, so I was just like really into checking all this stuff out, and like, so I was also watching Alec a lot when Alec was reacting to things, and like getting super invested in like Foe specifically. Like when I got I got unreasonably starstruck the first time Fo and I were actually in a VC together. It was it feels so silly to me now because A, we're very close now, and B, we are the same person.
Yeah.
um but yeah, I was just like getting super invested in a lot of that stuff. People like Pluff, people like Jazz. I still get a little weird about chat sometimes, and we are also pretty close now sometimes.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, that I was deeply inspired by a lot of uh the works that Alec was kind enough to share with the world, and I'm really just super grateful to like Alec and Jason and everybody that takes the time to boost mashup projects just in
Oh,
general.
for
Like
sure, for sure.
none of us would be here without the spotlight that they chose to use on us, and we're all very grateful for that as well. Um, so yeah, I think what really did it was two things happened around the same time. The first thing was I actually signed up for the infamous terrible browser DAW. Like we've talked about this before. Myself as well as Pharaoh Lad have been primarily using a browser digital audio workstation called Soundtrap, which
Yes.
the way the way I like to describe it is it's a worse GarageBand that I pay monthly for.
Hmm.
Pharaoh uses a free version and somehow makes like even better shit than I could with a paid version. Um, but yeah, that was just like because I was messing around with GarageBand for a while when I had access to it, and then I lost access to it, and I was feeling really creatively stifled for a while. I was just like, I need a dog. Get me a dog. I don't care what it is. And so I found Soundtrap. And I was like, this has the same functions as GarageBand that I was using. And even more stuff than that I was like learning how to use over time. And actually, I, I feel pretty confident in my ability to use them now.
Hmm.
There's actually a lot of really cool shit in there if you know how to look and find it. The big issue is it's cloud hosted, meaning a lot of the tools take way too long to actually load.
Yes.
Like I'd be sitting there waiting for like 2 minutes to stretch a clip,
Ooh, yeah.
or to like pitch something up one semitone. It was brutal, man. I recently started attempting to make the switch to Reaper, and I'm finding it much more convenient, but I'm also having to relearn all of like my understanding of how to mix things in it. So we're gonna see how that goes, but I am uh, enjoying the transition so far.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
but the but the second thing that happened around that time was um, the Hi My Name Is Shan album got a partial upload to Alec.
Yes.
Yeah, she only did like half of it there, like not even. But you know, it hit. I was like, hey, this is pretty good. I wasn't super like crazy about the Hi My Name Is Shane album at first. Now I love it, but I was just like, okay, I like this. This is pretty good. And then a couple months later, around around both Mia's and my own collective birthday, and Freya's Grace, as I would later find out, um, Everything's Wonderful would have hit.
Yes.
And that one hit me particularly hard, as I'm sure it did for a lot of people, you included.
Yes, myself very much included.
Yeah, Wonderful was just something shifted in my brain when Wonderful hit. And it just made me realize the kind of stuff that mashups could be, you know?
I don't. I'm gonna say this completely honestly. I don't think that Mia realizes the shift in how mashups are made that Wonderful caused, at least
Now,
in this side of the scene.
now, actually, she does notice. She has commented on this before. Like we've had conversations about this before. There, there's definitely been a noticeable shift that that even she has picked up on, and she's like really hesitant to like take credit for that because it feels like ego or whatever. But I'm like, no, this is like a tangible thing that's happening. Pointing that
Yeah.
out is not an ego thing.
Like, I think what Wonderful did to. Because, I mean, for a long time, mashups were the funny.
They
They
were the funny.
were. They were the
A lot of them are still
memes.
the funny.
They were the lulls. I mean, even though they're scarce to find nowadays, and I believe only Yoshibel does them still, they were the through the tables and memes. Those were the kinds of projects that were coming out, at least that I remember at the time. Because I've been, like, I haven't been reacting as long as people like Jason and Alec have, but I've
Mhm.
been in the mashup community, kind of lurking my little gremlin claws in here for at, at, at least since 2015.
Mhm.
But I I think that there's something so special about things like Wonderful and Something Else from Jazz.
Mhm.
That album was another one that, I mean, it came out before Wonderful did, but that kind of, I think that Something Else paved the way for Wonderful. Because
Absolutely, yeah.
even though Something Else had Mimi tracks, Smooth Moves insert here, good God, that song is PTSD every single time I listen to it. I always think of when Alec first heard that, just him getting out of his chair and laughing his ass off. Because the combination of Smooth Criminal from Alien Ant Farm
Mhm.
and uh fucking yeah, it just that
Just all that
song
other
is a,
shit.
yeah. But I think that what Mia and Jazz did with those two projects has irreversibly changed the way that at least this side of the scene crafts mashups.
Absolutely. Like
Because
you can clearly see the difference with me.
yeah,
And like
I mean,
I was building to that, but
even in But, there were, I believe that the ending track had a little bit more of that emotional pull to it.
yeah, it was meant to be like, the butt is over. I want to immediately shift into what the rest is going to be. And
And I that is going to be a talking point because
Mhm.
you succeeded in that tonal shift very well. Because with But, yeah, it's the Zed Durst, it's the fucking Chick-fil-A army, it's all of that. But with that final track, it's still got the meminess and the humor, but there's just enough of the emotional side of things that's been so prevalent with mashups the past few years that it it gave this perfect segue to go into Head. And
uh,
I think that
I appreciate you
that
saying that.
tonal shift, I that tonal shift was masterfully done.
I
So
really
I'm
appreciate you
I'm
saying that.
definitely giving you props to that.
Thank you. Yeah, so the reason that I bring up Wonderful is that was exactly the point. I I was looking at uh just the total dichotomy between the Hi, my name is Shannon and everything is wonderful. I was like, this person just exploded onto the scene, redefined what mashups are, and proved that she can do what mashups have been and what mashups can and should be.
Yes.
And I was like, I've been sitting on a bunch of ideas for a while that I haven't been able to make because I didn't have a fucking DAW. I I could totally do that. It
Yeah.
was really just a situation of I've been wanting this for so long. And this just proved that it's possible. And you want to know the thing about fucking Everything is Wonderful that really hit me? The thing
What's
that
that?
made Mia and I friends?
What's that?
The track Never As It Seems, featuring Starseer. Please listen to everything that they do. Um, the track Never As It Seems includes, on the same track, Porter Robinson, my de facto favorite artist and the creator of my favorite album of all time, and Water Parks, a band that I had been wanting to see in Mashes for the longest time, and Mia was the first person that actually did, because, as I would discover, from immediately following that release, that's a favorite band that we share, and we've been bonding over that for better part of 2 years now. Um, both of those, both of those acts, I had seen live in 2021. Um,
Oh wow. Okay.
yeah, I had a whole like run of concerts in 2021 after like having only been to two real concerts in my life. Yeah, I was loving that. That was a good time for me. Um, yeah, Porter was fucking excellent, by the way. If you ever get the chance to go see Porter Robinson live, do so. Especially with this new tour coming up, that's gonna be insane. I don't even know what to expect. Oh my god. But yeah, those two things together felt like the most targeted at me that somebody who didn't know me has ever felt.
Okay.
And so like that was immediately enough to make us start talking and be friends and stuff. And eventually what led to everything else that has happened, including El Horso. And that's why there's two Water Parks tracks on El Horso.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed. I don't know how in tune with their stuff you are.
I'm not very involved with water parks, but I've definitely listened to a few of their tracks.
Yes.
And
They,
I
they
have
got they
also
got a
seen
new.
the hyperfixation chat that you and Mia share.
Yes, we do have one. She uses it more than I do because she has a lot more thoughts about it. I'm just like, yeah, good.
Yeah.
It's, I don't have a whole lot of like insightful commentary or like lore theories that she has. I'm just like, this is some of the best music that I've ever heard in my life, and I just really respect everything that they're doing.
Hmm.
They got a new album coming out. I'm not even a little bit prepared for that. This has been a crazy year for albums that like I wanted. Like
Yeah.
it's on a cycle because all the stuff that I've been most excited about also happened in 2021. But like, Borders back, Water Parks are back, Billie fucking Eilish is back. Just
I
like,
mean, yeah.
I'm sure there's
There's.
more I could think of.
I think. I mean, pivoting a little bit away from mashup stuff, like this, the last few years have been amazing for just music that, I mean, even I personally love. Dragon Force is one of my favorite bands of genuinely of all time, and yes, it's for all of the memey reasons possible, but I love them. They just put out a record. I love Avenged Sevenfold. They put out a record. Like, so many bands have just decided in the span of the last year or two to be like, all right, let's put something out.
Oh my
And
god, even like Childish Gambino is putting out two records this year.
yeah, I heard about that and I was like, what? And I
Yeah,
mean,
that's crazy.
I think music in general has just been kind of the best I've seen from the collective music scene in a long while.
Mhm.
I think we're getting great everything from every genre.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good shit happening.
Yeah.
What was I talking
But
about?
back to the process of Butthead.
Yes, okay. Um, so I really just wanted to show that, both sides of the coin were things that I could do. And the reason I went with a double album rather than just like splitting one album down the middle, like people, fucking Drago, Drago. I'm okay. I had to look over at my DMs for numbers. Drago 2143, Magic Damage, another recommendation from me. Very good album. Um, that one has like a kind of split down the middle, kind of deal. I was like,
Hmm.
I could do that, or I could go full double album like Photon did.
Yeah.
And if I can do something like Photon did, I'm gonna do something like Photon did. Like I have two confusions on my channel for that.
Yeah. I think going the double album route really helped convey just how real everything is. I mean,
Yeah,
especially with it being the tone split as it is. I think it really helped. I'm not sure how I want to word this, but it made everything just feel so much more realistic because you get at those points where yeah, everything's fun for a little bit, but eventually things kind of get heavy
hmm,
and a little bit real. um and I mean, as I said, I think the last track of Butt really nailed home how there is definitely a lot of the fun stuff. And even in Head, there's still a lot of fun stuff. But there's something much more soft and tender about Head that really lets you know, like, hey, I'm going to be real with you all for a second.
hmm.
And I love that. I absolutely loved my experience with the Head album.
That is very
You,
exciting. I cannot wait to see that reaction.
um, I actually specifically want to talk about one track on that
Okay.
album because it's the track that affected me the most. You'll see
Okay.
that in the reaction. I cried to it,
Okay.
and that's Dead Body.
Wow, of all things, really?
Yes,
That's been
that
out for like a
track.
year.
Yeah, I didn't know about it. Um,
That's wow. I didn't of all the things.
because I shortly after listening to the album and even going back to it today, I went to the Bandcamp description for it, and I took it
Good.
in a
I was really going to suggest that you do that. I was hoping that you would do that.
yeah. I went to the Bandcamp to look at the little description you gave it, and
Hmm.
I'll be honest, I took it a completely different way. Um, I don't necessarily want to get into it here, but
Okay.
because it's still fairly, I'll probably cut this out. But um,
Okay.
I'm sorry if this is getting a bit like, but um, last year
Mm.
the reason I cried at Dead Body was because I took it in a much darker way,
Certainly.
considering the context of the song.
Mm.
And last year, when I was the place that was before this most recent one, where I was streaming everything.
Hmm.
The one before that, where I actually started reacting to more of the mashup stuff, it
Hmm.
was a homeless shelter,
Yeah.
essentially. And while I was there, I was again. I'll keep this brief, but I was assaulted at that place.
Mm.
And so I think with the context of the album being a lot heavier, and with the context of that specific song, I think I took it a completely different way than it was meant to be
Yeah,
taken.
yeah. I can see how you would arrive at that conclusion. Sorry,
Yeah,
first of all.
it's okay, but that song struck a different chord than, I want to say, like, even some of the stuff from Wonderful or uh YTN, cuz that
hmm
hit somewhere that I wasn't expecting to be hit.
hmm
I don't think I've ever felt that, like, something that profound in a mashup before. Legitimately. I don't think I've ever felt that way. So that was, I mean, I'm not saying it was a bad thing, because
hmm
I mean, listening to that, while it did send me momentarily back to a place that I didn't necessarily want to go back to, it did help me process it a little bit more. And I just I kind of want to know more about that track, because that was, I think that was probably one of the best tracks on the album, simply
Oh,
for
well,
that
thank you.
reason alone, that it connected with me so hard.
I think it's going to be a little anticlimactic for you at this point.
That's
I
okay. That's
just
okay.
okay. Um, so that whole run of concerts that I did in 2021, the first one that I went to was my other favorite band, a band at the time, less of a band now. Um, Paris, spelled with a
Mm-hmm.
V, of course. Um, and I was super into them. They were dropping an album around that time, and they dropped an even better one last year. That I actually have on vinyl over here.
Oh,
Um,
wow. Look at you, Miss Fancy, having all that vinyl shit.
that's for Eli. I have two vinyls over here for Eli. I have that, and I have Evanescence Fallen,
Fair.
which I use that as a joke on somebody else. Like I hid a record that they actually wanted in that case, and then I kept the actual vinyl to keep for Eli. Um, I do that with this person a lot, but yeah, I got Eli really into Paris, and I had this idea around like a little bit before I went and saw them. Um, like I noticed that this one track was practically identical to that Two Blue song, and I was like, okay, I'll do that. I'll make a Paris match because I don't know that anybody else will, and I
Mm-hmm.
didn't find anybody else that would until I met Nelly. So
Yeah.
that's that's a fun thing, but with like me and Mia and Nelly, like I have at least one niche musical interest to bond with each of them about, and I really
Yeah.
enjoy that. Um,
Now, I'm
yeah,
I'm
I
not exactly
just
close with Nelly, but I've heard they're super sweet.
Nelly's a delight. Nelly's just the fucking best. Um, yeah, I don't really have a whole lot more to say about it. I,
Yeah.
to be honest, it's one of the things that had the least like thought put into it. It was just okay. These will sound good together, and they do.
Yeah. Yeah. That
I
one,
would. I do think
like,
though I would really prefer to get a remaster of that one done at some point because the isolation that I got at the time for the instrumental was not very good.
mm-hmm.
So that might be a thing to look forward to in the Reaper era for me.
Okay. The other thing I want to talk about, like, in general with Butthead as a whole, is just the production on it, because there are so many little things, little panning choices, glitchy effects with vocals, that,
little
of course.
little shit. That's so my speed. Okay. Um. So there's a couple moments where like you can really see like the DNA of the influences where I pulled that stuff. There's like a fair amount of Linkin Park on there that has a lot to do with it. There's a bunch of glitch mob going on. The glitch mob
Hmm.
is one of my favorite EDM acts ever. Everything that they've done is just so detailed and like it feels like a narrative progression in like a 5 minute track. It's so fucking powerful. Good shit. And like
Hmm.
they do a lot of that like little details. They make it like because like the nature of EDM in any electronic music is it's going to largely have a lot of repetition, like a focus on repeating elements to establish a
Yes.
pattern that keeps you moving. Um, I real The thing about the glitch mob that I love is that they find a way to slightly alter something. Like they'll
Hmm.
keep the repetition going, but it won't feel that repetitive. There's always just like one little difference.
Yeah. I
If you heard
definitely felt that with a lot of stuff on Head. Yeah.
yeah, like a big deal, a big thing for me is never letting them know your next move. Unpredictability is exactly where I want to operate.
Yeah, I can
Like
definitely see that.
like I'm trying to think of like the best example of that, and it's probably that beat switch on track 12 of Head. That
Yeah.
came out of absolutely nowhere, and I just like I was working on that track for a minute because that track actually has a long and complicated history for me. I had the
Okay.
idea for that in like 2015.
Oh, wow.
I I because like the original idea it was just enjoy the silence, which did make the cut. Cool for the summer, which did make the cut, and then a couple of other things, including bad touch, which a portion of it did make the cut. I kept that little sample in there because it felt really nice. I
Yeah.
didn't get to use any of the vocals though because they felt like they would be really out of place, and I didn't have a lot of space for them. Um, yeah, the original idea was just going to be like playing with those three instrumentals a lot, and then added a couple other things where necessary. There was going to be a Kendrick Lamar track on there.
Oh,
I
wow.
could only fit the littlest bit of running up that hill in there in the intro, which was just like again me playing it on a fucking keyboard like I did on Butt. Um, I was just sitting there with it and I was trying to figure it out. And I kept hitting a wall. I was like, I don't know what to do with the rest of this track. And then Justice released a song that was in key that week,
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
and I pounced immediately on it. And that's how the rest of that happened.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
real proud of that one. I think that one came out super well.
I specifically with as I was talking glitch effects. Let's talk about Scorched Earth for a second because holy
Absolutely.
shit, that
Scorched Earth taps into the other influence I was going to talk about and then got distracted. Um, DJ Hero is a big influence on that one. I was a big DJ Hero fan. I There was a time when I was more into DJ Hero than Guitar Hero, and I was super into Guitar Hero for a minute. Um,
yeah.
DJ Hero coincided with my pun intended discovery of Daft Punk, and I because like they're all over that first game. They made a whole bunch of their like mixes of their own shit for it, and they're all really really good. And that just had such an effect on me of like because it was that combined with like my first experience of a lot of their stuff was Alive 2007, which is quite possibly the best live album ever made. Um,
I definitely see where you're coming from with that.
there's a lot going on in there. It's really well done. Um, And just all of that had such an effect on me, and I was like, this is exactly the kind of shit that I want to be making.
Yeah.
And so, Scorched Earth was just well, okay, first I have to say, check out Gibby's stuff.
Yes. Yeah, we got to
Check
talk about how Gibby contributed to that, because
we
both
have
of
to
you
talk
did
about Gibby
very well.
in general, because Gibby is an absolute legend. Um, I don't know if this is a spoiler for you. Gibby actually contributed a fair amount to El Zebro and did a fantastic job.
So I've heard. Yeah.
Okay. Gibby, Gibby and I became really close really quickly because I was really like I made the quote unquote mistake of marathoning Gaming in the Manson years 1 and 2 in one go.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, that fucked me up. But it was really cool because Gibby does shit nobody else does, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. Gibby takes routes to places nobody else is willing to go, and they're willing to create soundscapes that nobody else really can.
Yeah.
They have
Um,
such a fucking talent for mutilating an MP3.
yeah. Sound design is really, I think, one of the best talents that Gibby has.
Absolutely.
They can.
Sound design and visual design. They can do the same shit to a JPEG. Like,
Oh,
they did the
yeah.
cover artwork for both of my Ignoravens.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Super good
I
shit.
mean,
I'm so fucking proud of them.
yeah. And I mean, even from, like, talking about their progress, uh, like, Gaming in the Manson Years 1 to the epic so far that I've heard of 2, the shift in quality is huge.
Absolutely.
And what were those made in, like, not even a
Those
year
were
of
in,
each other?
yeah, and they were both made in Audacity.
Yeah. I still don't understand how anyone can make mashups in Audacity.
I
That
mean,
just blows my fucking mind.
at this point, Audacity feels like one of the less strange ones, just because I know so many people are like making crazy shit with it. David Omario uses Audacity to fantastic effect. Our collab on French House EP2 is one of the most fun collabs that I've had, and he did a fantastic job with that. Um, that I'm blanking on other people because I was thinking about people that use worse things than Audacity, like for me and Pharaoh,
I mean,
or like the people that use
Vray.
visual editors. Yeah,
Yeah, like Vray using a fucking video editor for the entirety of, I mean, their work so far, I think. Like,
yeah,
I don't
pretty
think
much.
they've switched to anything, which is just why.
It's
Honestly.
what we have. We make the best with what we have. Yeah, Ray
Like,
is fucking incredible.
yeah, absolutely agreed.
Um,
See, this is why I'm doing this, because I just, I just want to know all your
I
secrets.
love that I'm
Yeah,
here. I love that I'm here first, so we both have a chance to just geek out about all the cool shit our friends do.
yeah. Like, it's kind like I didn't even fully intend to be a part of this community. If I'm being totally honest, like I just wanted to do the reaction thing.
You were a fan first, just like me.
And all of a sudden Mia comes out of nowhere and is like, "Hey, I have a Discord server. You want to join it?"
I I remember the day we discovered that you were doing that, and, and lo and behold, Eli had like already connected with you at some point.
Yeah, I can't remember where it was that I first
I
met
th-
Eli, but yeah,
I think he
I
was in your
believe
server before any of us.
yes, yes. Yeah,
Um,
Eli had been in there for, I think he joined the server like July, August of last year, something like that.
And that was like
Which is
before Mashup Month 1 even, right?
yeah, yeah. God,
Crazy.
I can't remember now. I've slept since then.
Have you? I have to actually check. Have you?
Yeah, I have.
Okay,
Please
good.
trust me on that.
I was watching back through the BoomTube reaction the other day, and you were just yawning so much.
Yeah, that is a problem that I have. Sleeping. That whole thing is just very hard for me.
Hey, you know what? Same. I've been having a lot of issues with that recently.
Yeah, that's
What
been
the fuck were we
that's been
talking
a
about? Gibby!
yeah, Gibby.
We were talking about Gibby. So
We
Gibby,
love you.
actually, we love Gibby. We love everybody that we've mentioned. We love.
Absolutely.
Um. Uh. Gibby was actually Gibby and I have just like had this unspoken thing where we're each just trying to capture the essence of the other. Like
Hmm.
I was trying to lean super hard into Gibby core because it felt like uh a level of complexity and artistry that I want to one day reach. And Gibby has been like trying to strip back and like focus on like intricacies of the craft of a few things rather than mutilating a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so this idea came about as them just trying to like nail onto. Are you hearing a dog right now?
A little bit,
I
but
Okay.
it's
I
okay.
haven't checked. I haven't checked my levels because she hasn't been loud until now. We'll cut this out. Uh, we give it a minute so we make sure that she chills out.
Yeah. Intermission.
Um,
Do
take
do
it.
do 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 do
I
do
need a
do
drink right
do
quick.
do 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 do.
New record though. I don't think I've burped once.
Hmm?
I was saying new record. I don't think I've burped once in this entire VC, and that is, I can't
That
think
is
of a time that
impressive.
that's happened before.
That
I
is
was I was
impressive.
really worried about that. I had to like choose my lunch carefully.
It's okay.
Okay. Yeah. So the idea came about. Gibby was just like trying to play with samples that I would use, and so the idea happened as them combining Firestarter and Spitfire, which like Porter and Prodigy I'm immediately all in for. And then they went Paramore and Power Man, but like they
Mm-hmm.
did it differently, and I was like, I really like where this is going. This is now a collab.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the rest of that is me building off of that foundation, but trying to make it feel more like Gibby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like
There's
a lot of
definitely a
the
lot of that feel in there.
yeah, because like Gibby was the idea was Gibby was leaning into like my sample choices, so I would then counter that and lean back into stuff they would pick, and that's why you got like Aphex Twin in there. That's why there's Death Grips going on. What's the other thing that they do? There's clippings in there. That's one of their staples. And then oh my god, I have to spoil this for myself. Did you catch the Kingdom Hearts clips?
Yes.
All of them?
Yes. I
Because
caught the
that
Zigbar.
Okay, because there's a Sora in there too.
Yeah, yeah, I heard it.
Okay, cool. I wasn't sure because it's like uh the fire casting clip from 3, but I like super like pitched it down and I was like, can anyone tell that that's Sora?
Yeah. I did want to ask you about that. Why Zigbar? Like, why?
If it felt like a good drop. It felt like a classic like dubstep thing that you play before the drop.
Let's see how you did. I
Let's see how you
love.
dance.
Yeah, I
What would I
love.
say for you?
Like,
Sigmar's my fucking favorite. We've talked about this before.
yes, Zigbar is my favorite organization member, right next to Demix and Larkseen. But I like
Oh,
those
that's a
two.
controversial take.
I specifically like those two because of certain things that were happening in the fandom and things surrounding them that I don't want to get into because it might embarrass me on the internet. So,
Oh no. Yeah, let's definitely nip that in the bud right now.
yeah.
Um,
But yeah, I love both of those characters. And
I
hearing
as a fellow minority Demix enjoyer, I appreciate you saying that.
I fucking love that man. He's so
Everyone is so scarred by that fight that they don't even recognize how much fun of a character he is.
yeah.
He's so
You
great.
heard what Marley said. I don't have to be smart or likable or attractive. A cereal bowl would make a better vessel. and 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 I find it interesting how Larkseen being liked is also a controversial take. Cause like, yeah, she's a bitch, but that's kind of her whole thing.
Here's the thing. When it comes to the organization, the ones that actually have personalities are easier to like.
Yeah,
Like I like Zaldan a lot. There is nothing about his character that
that
makes him
nothing
anywhere
there.
close to as interesting.
No, he is literally like how do I don't know which comparison I want to make here.
Here's what happened. They they spent all their budget on attempting to make him interesting in 2 and Days, and they didn't have any left for anything after that. And
Yeah,
that's why he has no more lines.
yeah. Rip Dylan, Kingdom Hearts 3,
And
and
Rip
Alias.
Alias. Because I like both of them. Dad Alexius is my go-to warm-up fight because
Yeah.
it's fun and easy, but fun.
So okay, I actually kind of want to talk about this. Now you've got me in a Kingdom Hearts talking mood.
Let's.
Data Lexius is easy in concept. Lexius is a very simple data fight in concept. Like on
Mhm.
paper, it's really cool. It's a really neat system, but in practice, it is annoying to fight
I,
that man.
I figured out the patterns really quickly. I never had that much trouble with him.
Like,
That's why he's
I
my
don't know.
warm-up.
Maybe it's just me and the fact that Luxord is my easiest data battle.
Hey, he's one of mine too.
But like, I could never fully grasp Lexius's patterns. We're probably gonna do a Kingdom Hearts tangent here. All right. And by the way, I'm totally fine with that. I am totally fine with the Kingdom Hearts
Of the
tangent.
interests that we share, that's like one of the top 3 things that I'm actually wanting to talk about.
Yeah. I actually just did a redo playthrough of KH3. I haven't gotten to the Remind DLC yet, but
Yeah,
I just did a.
I revisited the end recently. I didn't play the whole game again. I just went back to my save file and just like playing through the end again. Yeah, that's I I gave that ending a lot of shit at first because like I really wanted more 1v1s and like spread them throughout the game, and I just really wanted the organization to have more of a presence throughout 3.
Yeah.
And I don't know, as undeniably climactic as that like final third of the game is, it felt like a bit of a letdown in a lot of ways at the time. And now I'm
I
like
will.
completely over that. I love the ending now.
Yeah, I think that so many people were hoping for something more climactic than KH2. I think that's the main people I think that's the main reason people don't like Kingdom Hearts 3. It's
But
because
the thing is, it is more climactic than two.
like I don't think people really understood that Kingdom Hearts 3 wasn't trying to be better than 2. It was trying to be just a continuation of that saga, which happened to be objectively better, and nobody can tell me otherwise. I love Kingdom Hearts 2. It is probably my it's tied for my favorite game of all time, but I cannot deny that the story that 3 brought to the table is just better. That's just my opinion. But I don't know.
I think that I liked two a lot more because it stood on its own better.
Yeah.
There was less like preemptive research and knowledge you would have to understand it more, and
Mhm.
like there was more Roxas, which is always a good thing, and I they did the thing where like they actually spaced out some of the organization fights throughout the game to give them like more of an overarching presence rather than them showing up and getting yoten by Pixar characters.
Yeah. Although
And
the scene in Toy Box with Woody
of
is
course,
one of my favorite in the
hold up,
franchise.
let him cook. I love how that
What?
meme became like the exact opposite of what the scene actually is. Woody's like,
Yeah.
let him talk. And Woody's actually like, no, you stop talking, I'm gonna get this bitch.
I am going to just roast you into oblivion and then take my
My
phone
guess is
back.
nobody's ever loved you before. Why didn't I use that on Bird Brain Radio?
That's
I should have used that.
spoiler, she will use it
I'm gonna use it. There will be a sequel to Corn Story.
because you're hollower than any toy. Woody is such a badass. Okay, I kind of want to talk about this because I figured out, I found out about this recently. Did you know in the first Toy Story, Woody was intended to be a whole lot worse than he was?
That makes sense because like he's really a fucking asshole throughout the first half of
Like,
that movie.
it got to the point where the producers told them to change it because his character was too unlikable.
And depending who you ask, including me on the wrong day, they didn't fix that.
I mean, he's still an unbearable asshole, but apparently he was just even more unbearable in the
That's
first movie.
crazy. It's so weird
Uh,
because like it's Tom Hanks. That's so
yeah,
playing against type to make him the total asshole. If it was going to be anybody, I would expect it to be Tim Allen.
yeah. Apparently, there were even going to be like toy deaths caused by him to try to get rid of Buzz. I think that was one
Oh
of the
my
things they
god.
changed. But it's like, what the fuck, Pixar? Y'all were wildin' in the first era of your
The 90s were
time.
crazy, man.
Like they I mean, if you've seen the outtakes for Incredibles, some of those
I think I've heard about this, but I don't know what exactly happened.
Syndrome and Mirage, that's all I'm going to say.
Oh no.
There is a certain recycled animation
Oh,
that only saw the light of day a few years ago of a potentially very not kid friendly scene between those two.
Oh,
And
no.
it's
I mean,
to those
th-
listening, don't look it up. Please don't, because it is genuinely just why. I mean, Pixar, like Incredibles, is very mature. I think,
it is. There's like ass grabbing that made the cut. Like it's not visually there, but you know what happened.
and I mean the scene of Incredible finding
Yeah,
the
a full
terminal.
ass dead body.
I mean, just the terminal scene alone.
This is a suicide
See,
attempt in the first 10 minutes.
yeah, but like the animation that I saw was just. I would think there would have to be some kind of trigger warning with that scene
Yeah,
because I've seen some shit with that scene. Anyway, um, what were we talking about?
what were we talking about?
We oh yeah, we were
We were
talking
on
about,
Gibby.
yeah, scorched earth.
Yes, El
That
Scorched
we
Earth.
see that's also something I want to acknowledge here. That's gonna happen a lot with these Winter Talks episodes. There are gonna be tangents
Oh yeah,
that it doesn't matter if it's me going on them or my guest going on them. It's gonna happen. We're gonna
it's
talk
gonna
about
happen.
things.
If and when you have Mia on, that's gonna happen a lot.
Yes, she has actually warned me about that.
Yeah, and I
She's
wouldn't say it unless she would.
she I can read it. Like I think I think I still have the direct message pretty closely in our call. Yeah, also be prepared. I'm going to go on rambles and tangents with stuff. I will do my best to stay on topic, but it may very well easily derail. Her
I
exact
think
words.
we've addressed topics pretty well.
Yeah.
I don't I don't know like what else there is, but what are we saying? I was trying to get to the part where with Scorched Earth where I was intentionally trying to invoke DJ Hero.
Yes.
Like that first like drop, like with the Sora part.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like simulating the crossfading that happens in DJ Hero. Like I
Mm-hmm.
was trying to envision how it would play on the turntable controller. And
Yeah.
now that's the last thing that I have to chart, and I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna do it.
That's fair.
I was dreading charting that the whole time. I'm so afraid to chart it.
Wait, it's
I'm
not
real
charted
I'm
yet?
real proud of that one. No, that's the last thing to be charted. It's just that.
Oh, really? I thought it was already charted
Nope.
because I thought Alec had played it at one point.
Nope.
Or
Alex
was
has
it
not played.
okay?
He played BBR,
Mm.
and he also has played Zebro.
Oh yeah, that's the one that. Okay.
That did happen.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I kind of want to talk about the ending of Head.
Of course.
Not. I mean, not just the encore track, but also nonverbal meltdown in the club, because
Yes.
that track almost got me to cry. That
Yeah.
track is oof.
Yeah. As I was talking about earlier, an idea that took shape a very long time ago and just continued to morph and change as I have. And like by the end of it, I was like, I have a lot of serious stuff that I need to get out of me in this project. And that was a big one. I have a lot of times when I need to go nonverbal to like recalibrate
Mm-hmm.
and to like uh actually regain control of my brain.
Yeah.
Because like this never used to happen, but like I get like sensory overloads now.
Right.
I like if enough shit is going on around me, my brain will just start like spiraling and going on hyper anxious tangents, and I just like I can't focus on anything, and it like the act of not being able to focus makes me more anxious, and it gets so bad.
Yeah.
Like I think that's what truly made me understand what mania is, like what it actually is. And it's crazy. Like it's an insane experience, and that's probably a bad word choice. Whatever. I can self-identify as crazy. I don't care. Um it's it's something that like I haven't been able to actually verbalize until I was able to get it the emotions behind it into a track, you know?
Yeah.
And now that that's there, it's like this is like admitting, you know? It's like this is a real thing that happens to me, and now this is the only way that I've been able to express it.
Yeah.
And I at
And that
least
makes
turned it
sense.
into a legitimate club banger.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so proud of that one.
Yeah.
It's the same with track 4. That it's a lot of that same stuff going on.
Yeah. That one's Voices on My Shoulders. That was a
Yes,
single, right?
that was a single. I felt really strongly about that one being out in the world. That was another one that I've been sitting on for a while. It came to my mind in like 2022, I think, and then I experimented with it on rave.dj back when I
Mm-hmm.
was using that. And can I also just say that thing? It is a tool to test ideas, and it
Yeah.
does not completely make the finished mash. It is not capable of doing that.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, it might have evolved to a certain point. I don't know, but I didn't care to stick around long enough to find out.
Yeah.
But I I took that idea and I ran with it, and I made it a lot more detailed. There's a lot more going on in there than initially there was. I think I still have like the original version of that Rave made bookmarked, and I might throw it to you in a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah,
Specific.
I,
Uh. Oh, go ahead.
no, I go for it.
Um, Another specific track that I want to talk about because it almost caught me off guard, but thinking about it, this being where it was made a lot of sense. Carrie Elwis's family tied up.
Yeah, so there's a lot of theming going on there. Like, I pulled a fast one on y'all, and if you have not seen Saw, then it might not make a lot of sense why it's where it is. But the there, I don't know if you pointed this out, but the transition out from like into 6 is like a sleep, and
Yeah.
like track 6 is the dream, like that is what it's titled for a reason.
Yeah.
And then track 7 starts with the quote unquote wake up call,
Yeah.
because it's like in a dream I can like experience something a little more freeing, a little more like easy.
Yeah,
And
and
then
I did call that out during my reaction. I was like,
okay,
and we are going to talk about track 6, but the
okay,
feeling of the interlude and track 6, tracks 5 and 6,
Mhm.
they felt very, dreamlike, and they felt very. I mean, as I said before when we were talking, there are some upswings in mood, but what I took away from track 7 is that there's always something to make you snap.
Absolutely,
There's
yeah,
there's always something that can bring that dreamlike mood, that high down.
totally.
And I had mentioned in the reaction, I didn't give any examples because, I mean, personal examples are personal examples, didn't want to bring any up. But I
Right.
mentioned in the reaction that there have been times that I have noticed that you have a good hint of spite towards the world.
Yeah, spite is a big motivator.
And
I get real salty.
I think that track 7 was the one big point in this album where you really showcased that. And I thought that was very well done. Because this is
Thank you.
a track that, at least I feel, that is just brimming with spite.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I don't know that that was super the intent when it was being created because this is another idea that I've had for years that I was just able to finally put together, and all I was feeling when I was making it was just total hype that it was working as well as it did.
Okay.
I was so excited. Because I love Saw a lot. I don't know
Yes.
how much more clear I can make that.
We
I'm a
love our horror
huge
soap
fan.
opera.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. I love it so much. And
I
I do have
mean,
to point this out. I do have to point this out. I don't know if you got this. I haven't seen the head reaction. I don't know if you noticed it. And from the way that you're talking, it sounds like you've had Saw experience. I don't remember if we've had this conversation before.
yes,
Okay,
I love Saw.
fantastic. Hey, what's the next track called?
Yeah.
You noticed that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Did that come up
Um
in the reaction?
I didn't bring that up, no.
Okay, good. Thank you. I really want to preserve that experience. If you haven't
Yeah.
seen Saw, I'm talking about the big twist about it at the very end, which is my my favorite end of a movie twist ever.
Yeah. I mean,
I
Saw
love that moment. It's so
I
powerful,
mean,
so
talking
fucking well done.
about Saw in general, Saw 1 and Saw 2, there's such a dichotomy there.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think
And that
that,
that dichotomy is a budget.
yeah, that too. But it's like there's so much of a difference in feel, because I think
Definitely, yeah.
Saw 2 presents itself. I mean, yeah, it really lets you know, hey, we have a budget now. It feels
It does.
bigger. But
Mhm.
there's something about the anxiety inducing claustrophobic nature of Saw 1 that's super cool to me. That always has been.
Also that, yeah. I love that.
Um
Yeah, I have a lot more respect for those movies than I think a lot of people do. A
yeah.
part of that is due to, recognizing the budget constraints. Um,
Mhm.
Saw one, man, like just over $1 million. That is
Yeah.
nothing. Even in 2004, that is nothing.
They did a lot
And
with what they had.
yeah, and like a lot of times that low budget stuff results in really charming things, like the fucking newspaper clipping photo like scene transitions. I love that. That's so creative.
Yeah.
And
Um
like, oh, that one crazy ass transition where like Danny Glover is driving a car in front of himself.
yeah. Yeah.
It's definitely memorable. I don't know if it's good, but it's memorable. But there's a better one of those in Saw 2, though.
Yeah. But like with track 7, I felt that there was such a darker tone to it than I think
Absolutely, yeah.
anything else in the album. I think that's why that the knowledge of the spite that you have towards the world, that motivator, I think that was why that track made me think about that so much, was just because it has such a different tone and cadence to it than anything else on the record.
Yeah, like like a lot of us, I feel real hard done by. I get so fucking grumpy, but like you you say spite towards the world, and I would just like to clarify. It's not spite towards the world. It's spite towards the systems that make it as fucked up as it is.
Yeah, that's fair.
I love the world and I want the world to prosper, and those systems are determined to make that not happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like I have a
that
lot
that
of I really do not want to go like extremely political right now, but I have a lot
yeah.
of like super heated and like very a lot of like deep beliefs that I take really seriously about that kind of stuff. And if I could leave you guys with one like major point here, and I'm not saying that this has to immediately be the end of the recording. I just want to get this out there. Um, you and I have spoken before about um, survival in conditions that are desperate to make you not survive is in and
Yes.
of itself an act of rebellion.
Yes.
And I just want to get that message out as far as I can. That was going to be like the core philosophy of a project that I was hoping to have done by the end of the year that I will unfortunately not be able to at this time, but that's definitely like the guiding philosophy for the next era when I move into it eventually is when all of your surroundings, when the environment that you're in are so hostile that it makes you like feel like giving up, the choice
Mm-hmm.
to not give up, the choice to keep moving and to not let that hostility win, that is rebellion. That is resistance. That is, in your own little way, revolution.
Yeah.
And I
And I
just really
mean,
want that I really want that message to like really hit people, because when I first had that realization, I was like, rebellion's like my whole thing. I want to live in that forever.
yeah. Yeah, the status quo is not you.
Absolutely, yeah.
You're not one to just sit around.
Mhm.
Um so,
I have a set of like core beliefs at the core of like what I am and what I do, and I call those like commandments of the Church of Corvus. And
yeah.
that's absolutely like the second one. That whole tangent, that whole spiel right there, that's like number two, because it's very important that you it's really an extension of the first one, which I've said numerous times, love yourself or else.
Yeah.
Because having that love for yourself and learning to value your own life is like that is also in and of itself an act of rebellion,
Yeah.
because you're stuck in a situation where that's exactly what they don't want you to do.
Mhm.
So, yeah, if I have anything that listeners that I want listeners to take away from that, it is those two things, those two neat little points,
Yeah.
because those are my big motivators in life, aside from spite.
Yeah. Let's talk about the other collab track on Head, Dream Sister.
That was a lot
that
of fun.
it is such a lovely switch up from the vibe of the album thus far. Like at that point in the album,
And going
because
forward.
yeah, it's a very different song, I think, from
Yeah, and
almost
like
every other track on the album.
yeah. And I think if that's symbolic of anything, it's like even if you're in a bad spot before and a bad spot after, the moment when you first make that connection with somebody, the moment when you like recognize that you're at the beginning of what could very well potentially be a lifelong friendship, that's one of the best fucking feelings in the world.
Absolutely.
And
And
like even when it goes
you,
back into the darkness again, that doesn't go away.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it doesn't negate what's happened. It just means that something happened. Like
Absolutely.
I have loved seeing your friendship with Mia grow as much as I've seen it. I haven't even nearly seen all of it. I haven't been there, but I've loved just seeing how good of friends you've become and how very clearly your sisterhood has shaped a lot of what happens around the community in general. I've
What's
absolutely loved seeing it.
what do you mean by that?
I mean, you two are just very good friends, and
Hmm.
that shows with every single interaction that you guys have, whether that be via messages, whether that be in VC chats. It's a
Whether that be me
very
posting that one damn picture of Michael Cera that she hates.
yes, that especially. I love it. I love that there's such a wholesome thing there between you two. I love that. And this track, Dream Sister, shows it beautifully. And that's what it is. It's fun, but it is genuinely a beautiful song. I absolutely love it.
Well, thank you very much. That is, y'all can't see that big ass sweet smile going on right now. um, yeah, I'm really proud of the work that we both put into that one. A lot of that creatively was me. Um, like all the collabs that happened for Butthead, a lot of the ideas that were happening are just me spitballing stuff. That's kind of how it goes. I take a real buckshot approach for collabs. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, we have this thing that we want to do. Okay, I have this idea, this idea, this idea, and this idea. We're just gonna take whatever parts we can of those, and we're gonna synthesize that together. I don't know if you were
Yeah.
planning to listen to David Omario's French House EPs. High recommend. One of my favorite collabs that I've ever done is on the second one.
Okay.
But that was another great example of that. It's just me throwing shit out there, and then the people that actually know how to do the mixing that I don't know how to do are able to unify it all together and make it sound awesome.
And again, awesome it did sound. That track is probably one of my favorite mashups in recent memory just because of how sweet it feels and how genuine that it feels.
Does feel really good. You want to know a fun fact about that one?
What's that?
That was um my first actual CD rip. I found that CD in the wild for the instrumental, and I was like, well, you know what? The isolation we had of this wasn't that good. Maybe I'll just pick this up, and then we can CD rip that and isolate a better quality version. And we did. And
Nice.
like, it's so important because that song, "Punching in a Dream," uh, from the Naked and Famous's "Passive Me Aggressive You," good ass album. Um, that isolation that we had, it cut out those backing vocals that come in on the chorus.
Mm-hmm.
That's from that main track, and
Yeah.
it felt like it lost a lot of its power to me. So I was like, I really want to preserve that if we can.
Yeah.
And then I found this in the wild when I was shopping like around like Christmas or whatever, and I found it, and it just like heaven light shone down upon it. And I was like, yep, getting that. So that was my
Yeah.
first CD rip and one of the only two mashup stems that I've ever paid for.
Wow.
The second
Well,
one is
at least you're paying
the,
for
se-
it.
the second one is on Burberry Radio. It's the beat from Cool Guy Has Chill Day,
Yeah.
which is on Bandcamp. You can just buy that.
Yeah, you told me about that, I think. I think you've told me about that before.
I might have. It's the one that plays for everybody else. It's the one that plays when Photon is reading the traffic report as Fresno Jeff and talking about El Zebro.
Yeah.
I realize it's kind of hard to hear because of the effects that she put on it. She did the mixing on her own vocal track herself, by the way.
Okay.
But I had her like I wrote up a little copy for her to read about an upturned like truck shipping Capri Suns and a zebra that was just like raiding it and like chilling on top of it, sipping that Pacific Cooler like a goddamn king.
Yeah.
And that's El Zebro for you.
Yeah, I still have to get to El Zebro. I'm kind of scared for it, but not completely. I don't know.
I promise you, it's so much better. I
But yeah.
anytime I'm like I went around like name searching a bunch of Horso stuff last night, and I didn't do this then, but a lot of times I'll see like people talking about El Horso, like I'll look in the comment sections of Alex's video about it, and they'll be talking about like, man, El Horso was really bad or El Horso was really good, and a lot of times I'll go in there and be like, El Zebro's better. Just go look at El Zebro. Alec is in El Zebro. Spoiler.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
He
You'll see
had
what happens.
input with it?
He did not have input. We had him. Doug had him record a thing, like live on stream, and didn't tell him what it was going to be used for.
Okay.
And then it ended up in that, and it became a real hype moment.
Interesting. I'll watch out for it.
It's going to be really hard to miss. You'll catch it.
Okay.
Um, it's in between a really sweet thing and a really insane thing that is actually going to probably make you really mad.
Oh boy.
No, knowing you and what I know about you, please know that it comes from a place of love.
Wait, is this targeted? Oh god.
It is not targeted at you. It's targeted at Mia, as most of Horso and Zebro are. But some people just catch strays, you know?
Okay. I'll, I'll take your word for it. um Alrighty. I kind of wanted to talk about the encore
Okay.
for Butthead as a whole, because
Yes.
I think that after everything that the project as a whole has to offer, I think that's a really good way to send it off. I just thought it was so sweet. It was both parts. It had the chaos of but it had the heart and the feeling that had, and it had all of that in spades. So I kind of wanted to get your take on how that came about.
Um, yeah. So I love doing the thing where like everything comes full circle at the end. There's like a microcosm of that on track one of Head, um, where just like a lot of disparate parts are being laid out throughout the track, and then it all just like spirals into one. Like I view it like a rope, you know, like a
Yeah.
whole bunch of like smaller chords coming together and like making this one cohesive thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
visually in my mind as that track is playing, I'm just seeing like a bunch of stuff coming together in like a spiral. Like it looks like a DNA strand even.
Yeah.
Um and then like there's a further example of that at the end of track 12 when I bring back the intro to the track 1, Rhythm of the Night, where just like closing a loop on itself, you know? And
Yeah.
then I was like, okay, but then I could go further.
Yeah.
Um, and I had the idea where this was, I knew that I was playing into the duality of, you know, butt being the chaos, head being the controlled chaos, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then the final act was going to be actually combining both of those aspects together. And I don't know, it felt like I wanted to make something less of a confusion and more of a baby I'm back, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
I
Okay.
I really love Baby I'm Back. I think Pluff is one of the best to ever do it. And
Yeah.
you know, I just wanted to attempt something on that scale, I guess. And
Yeah.
you know,
I think it
that's
worked.
another that's another glitch mod backing where it's like you can really feel the progression of it without me having to do a whole lot to change the instrumentation around.
Yeah.
Um, and so it plays more into my strengths of finding the right things to place at the right moments.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I don't really have a whole lot of like fun and interesting stuff to say about that. Originally the idea was going to include a few more like references to earlier in the albums.
Okay.
Like I was gonna bring back the Bad Touch horns and actually use the vocals from Bad Touch. There was going to be a second moment where Ellie Goulding happens over Glitch Mob,
Okay.
and I mean, there's a couple other references sprinkled around. I actually used the vocals from Separate Ways, which is another callback. Um, yeah, it was a callback to your your favorite Infinite Addiction
Yes.
because
I did
because
catch that.
I played the Separate Ways riff on my little Soundtrap synth in there. It was a
Mm-hmm.
lot of fun. I loved doing that.
I do
I'm
want
probably
to
gonna lean
say,
into doing that more.
I do kind of want to say that, um,
Almost done.
hold on just a second. We'll cut this out.
You almost
Absolutely.
done.
Kind of.
How long do you think?
I don't know.
Well, because I just got my update, so I want to, whenever you're done, come out. I got an update.
Okay. Sorry about that. Father came into the room. Um, but I kind of wanted to. Wait, you there?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Um, I wanted to mention with Infinite Addiction, and I can't remember which track it was, but you used you completed the In Faint Night crossover.
I did. Yeah, Faint is on track 3 of that.
Yeah, I had mentioned that, and I'm like, I'm so glad. I'm really glad that mashup artists are using more of this stuff. And
That wasn't
go ahead.
that wasn't even the plan, you know? Infinite Addiction, the way that that came about was there was a Siva Gunner rip using a different Sonic song with Addict. I was like, okay, but what if I did this?
Okay.
And then I used that other song on my collab with Sparky.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, you remember fucking
Yeah.
Undignified. Please go stream Undignified. Sparky's the fucking best. I actually wanted to get
Yes.
into this too. How about my boy Sparky absolutely killing it on the visual edits for both Butt and Head?
Absolutely.
I was
There were
really
quite a
proud
few
of.
moments where some of the visual edits kind of jump scared me. I was like, "Whoa, okay, damn."
Yeah, I wanted to actually make it worthwhile to keep your eyes on the screen rather
Hmm.
than just like, you know, muting it or closing the visual and just like immersing in the audio. I wanted to make the visual also immersive. There was going to be a lot more stuff going on, but like we were trying to have like the backgrounds warp around and just like move a little bit to be like distorted and weird, but I really wanted to prioritize not making people experience motion sickness, so we had to cut all of that.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah,
Yeah, we
I think Sparky did an
mainly
excellent
for
job.
yeah, I'm so fucking proud of like every single idea that I had. He absolutely knocked out of the park, and then he threw in some other random shit when he wanted to. Like that ending, the encore, the
Yeah.
transition into that. I didn't have input on any of that. He did that all by himself.
Really?
Okay,
Okay.
I had input on one thing. He had the T-posed butthead there, and then I was like, what if we fade in the funny SNL butthead as part of that
Hmm.
image? That was the
Yeah.
only contribution I made to that transition. He figured out the visual aspect of like what the text was going to be doing. He nailed the like uh running through the track list there, and most of what I did after that was grabbing and downloading and selecting videos for the video background portions, and then handling the color palettes.
Hmm.
I did a lot of the color work myself. He has a more video editing experience than me, and B, DaVinci. So he knew what the fuck he was doing, and I gathered and pooled a lot of resources, but he made it all work better than I would have known how to do.
Yeah. Big props to him. Um.
He also did we the Chick Hicks memes
Yes.
on Chick-fil-A Army. Those were a team effort. We both went hunting for those, but he actually did edit one of them himself.
Gotcha.
Um the one where it's like human Chick Hicks being interviewed. And
Yeah.
we, we just I always forget how funny that is to me. It's oh my god.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what it
The
says, but it's like the the best part about kissing is the men or something.
yeah.
So
Oh
fucking
man.
good. Sparky's the best. That's another person that I found throughout this whole situation where um you just really find people that have the same exact sense of humor as you, and it just works, you know?
Yeah.
It's a good feeling. Sparky is a good feeling.
Don't
Would
take
love more
that out of
chances to work with
context.
him on actual mashes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Ice cream is a feeling. Do you remember those?
Yeah. Yeah.
Little baby's ice cream. I think about those way more than I should.
I don't blame you. Um.
Oh, it's so funny.
So I guess there's really only one more bullet point on our list here. What's next for LK Corvus? If you can't reveal anything to me, that's fine. I won't hate
I
you
mean,
for
it's
it.
not so much revealing things to you because you know everything that's happening. Um, well, okay, you know the important stuff that's happening that I can talk about, and you know some of the important stuff that's happening that I can't talk about. Um, so I made a post recently that was addressing the planned project that I had for the end of the year that is no longer looking feasible to actually happen in time. And you know what? I'll talk a little bit about what that was going to be. I had a project that was going to be called White Lighters because it was going to release on my 28th birthday.
Okay.
That of course being a reference to the myth of the White Lighters and the 27 Club.
Yeah.
Um and it was going to be, you know, as I was talking about earlier, it was going to be a testament to survival as an act of rebellion. Like I
Hmm.
lived, bitch, and it was gonna like lean into a lot more like rock stuff. Like it was gonna be much more guitar focused than what had ended up being very electronic focused. I wanted to play a lot more with like rock band stems and stuff, and I'm probably still gonna do a lot of that. But it's going to be a while, and the project is probably going to undertake a significant metamorphosis from what the original plan was. But
Okay.
the year the year will not be barren of further Corvus chaos. My next big priority right now is that thing that we announced like a year ago and have done not even close to enough work on since then. My collab project with Tyler, uh, our boy TC Music. Please go stream all of the Mandela and Titanium projects. Um, we have a project that we're working on and we'll be continuing to work on for the next little while called Rush, which is themed around our number one shared interest besides music itself, Sonic.
Yes.
And
I am very excited.
you previously committed to reacting to that, and you have noted to us on multiple times you are not very educated in Sonic.
I am not. No.
um
Sonic is
I'm
not my forte, I would say. It is not something I've had a lot of experience in. So, Rush will be my chance to be educated,
Yeah,
essentially.
notably you actually thought when Infinite Addiction was playing you thought that it was Linkin Park.
Yep.
I think I was laughing at you in that moment a little bit.
Yeah.
But now I
But,
understand.
because
It's just not your thing. It's just a gap in your knowledge. That's fine. We all
it
have
was just
those.
never a
I
part of
don't
my childhood.
I still don't know who don't I know who that is. I had a name in mind. I still don't know which one is Megadeth and which one is Judas Priest. There, that's my gap.
I mean,
I
that.
was never a super huge metalhead. I had a few things aside from like the obvious new metal influences that I pull from a lot, but I never got super heavy into anything. I do have a baby metal album though that I found at the same time when I found that other one.
Yes, ma'am. God, fucking love baby metal. They're so fun.
Baby, baby metal fucking rules. I'm definitely gonna try and work them into that next solo project. But Rush, Rush is going to lean more into the electronic projects. We came up with this idea together um a little bit before he really like talked to me about what Titanium was going to be. And we ended up just like having the same like desire to work on a Titanium kind of project. And so Rush is going to be very similar to that kind of feel.
Okay. I will be reacting
Um,
to Technetium pretty soon here.
as you
Because
should. It's fucking great.
because spoiler alert, Tyler is also a guest. TC Music. Watch out for that Winter Talks episode.
That one I'm excited
Hooray.
about because I just like talking to Tyler, and I think that you're gonna have a good time doing so as well.
Tyler said that it could be at least a 5-hour video. So,
Well, this one
who
will
knows?
not, so that's good. We probably could if we really tried. We could, but let's not.
I mean, we've been going for
We've been going for
what?
two.
Oh, just over 2 hours now, yeah. Anything
Um,
besides Rush and
nothing that I've previously announced that I'm actually willing to talk about at this time. But there will be more collaborative things going on.
okay.
I had for a long time I said I wanted to make a point of focusing more on those collab projects like what Weep is, you know? Just
Mhm.
like working in a theme with certain people and just doing whatever I can in that theme. And I also said I wanted to do more like one-offs, and I might start doing that if like the mood hits. But at the same time, I also want to save a lot of those one-offs because BBR, and people really want a BBR too, apparently. It's probably going to be a while before that happens, but I'm definitely interested in doing more. Um,
Okay.
there is one thing that I cannot talk about. I am waiting to announce it. In fact, me and Eli are gonna go do some work on it in like any minute now. But there is a thing that is happening towards the end of the year that I'm very excited about. That I really can't tell you about yet. I really want to because it's the coolest thing that I've ever been able to do, and it's shaping up to be a really fun thing.
Okay.
And all I'll say is I'll be able to talk about it probably by the end of the month. I've been shooting to have the announcement ready by the end of the month.
Okay.
And it's going to be different. It's something that I've never done before. It's not like a first of its kind event because stuff like this has happened before. I just never done it.
Okay.
But it's going to be really cool. Um, there's going to be a lot of really cool people involved besides me. And I think that if this goes well, it could make a serious change in the mashup scene for a bit.
Okay.
I'm making waves. I knew from the instant that I chose to go down this path that I was going to be different, I was going to be unpredictable, and that I was going to make some waves. And I've done two of those things already. And I arguably I've done all three, Horso, but
Speaking
I
of which, um, I did want to ask about that because there
okay.
was a third installment planned, but is that
Yes, okay.
happening anymore?
Um so we had previously announced, and you'll see when you watch that, bro. We previously announced a third project themed around a third character. And you know about him. It's El Camelo. And
Yes.
I was really pushing hard for this. El Zebra was like an idea that the council all had together and was like, yeah, we should totally do a second one and have it be a zebra and have the joke be Africa. And that's not a
Hmm.
spoiler, that's in the trailer. That was supposed to be like known going in that there's going to be a lot of Africa happening.
Yeah.
Um and then I as a spin-off of that, I was like, okay, what if I made a third character that's a camel? And there's like jokes about Enter Sandman because
Okay.
like we really wanted to like lean into a bunch of stuff that Weezer's covered before. Um, there was there was a big shakeup in a lot of our lives toward the end of last year, and like collectively, just like a whole bunch of us, and that actually led to us all like collectively feeling that we needed to not. And a part of that had to do with some serious allegations happening against members of Weezer that made a lot of us really uncomfortable for a while in even really thinking about a Horso or El Zebro.
Yeah.
And we all just needed a break. And we took that break, and now Alec has played El Zebro, and we're all feeling a lot better about it. Um, and at the same time, as much as we feel a lot better about it, we still don't want to go ahead with the El Camelo project as it was originally going to be.
Okay.
Um, there are talks happening about some other non like actual follow-up projects. We want to do other stuff. We were actually going to do something like a roundtable podcast, like where we were all going to talk about. We were going to go track by track about the whole project. We were going to, give our origin story about what happened, which I've kind of already done a lot of here. Whoops. Yeah, we wanted to like that was supposed to happen like for the 1 year anniversary, which was 2 months ago. So,
Whoops.
but I was also going to do a lot of that for Butthead. That was going to be a part of the thing that I was going to do when I inevitably do um upload Butt and Head together. There's going to be a lot of there was going to be a lot of like big fanfare around that. I am going to still do a like community Q&A at some point, and I am going to try to upload an upgraded package of the full Butthead era on Bandcamp.
Okay.
So that will include like everything that at this point I've ever made.
Oh wow. Okay.
And as a part of that, I was going to have like roundtable, like not exactly commentary tracks like you normally get. I wanted to have like more of an in-depth interview setting
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to hear just myself talk,
Yeah.
which is like this has been great practice for that, and I would love to go more in depth about that stuff behind a friendly little paywall.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But, um, no, but I am gonna have like other stuff going on that isn't behind a paywall, and that's just for the people that really want it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so El Camelo is still not an active production. The council, we're all very close still. Nothing has like happened to tear the group apart or anything. Um, we just don't really want to do that again.
Okay. That's absolutely fair.
We are all probably still going to be making stuff together, like at some point. Me and Fo really just want to do like a full collab thing at some point. I don't know when.
I
I,
would
I
love
just
to
know that
see
we want to.
That would
I'm
be
really excited about the thought of
awesome.
it too. Maybe, maybe just maybe that could be what BBR2 is. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh shit. Okay.
Um, I have collabs planned with a couple other people. People that I have collabed with before, people that I have not collabed with before. That I'm very excited about doing all of that.
Yeah.
And then there's the big thing. So that's what my future looks like. I can't really speak for the rest of the council at this time. Uh, just go check out everything that they've done, including Vray, because spoiler, for the end of the Zebro, but the the Horso Zebro community knows at large by now. Vray was officially going to be inducted into the Council of Horso, and we are still going to involve them in stuff that the council does together. So go check out
Okay.
everything that they've done, especially stuff that they've done with their partner, Extraner, who is also great, and I have also collabed with before.
Yes. Yeah.
You didn't actually get to react to Prestige, did you?
Not yet. No.
Okay. Well, I'm on that one, so it's a good
All
one.
right.
I really love that one, and not even just because I'm there.
Okay.
I always have to do that disclaimer, like, fucking, I'm gonna talk it up for a third time. French House EP2 is my second favorite project of 2023,
Okay.
and not just because I'm on it. It's really, really good, and uh, I I really respect David Omario in what he's capable of when he chooses to focus it on things that aren't the same three jokes.
Yeah.
Because he does do that a lot, and a lot of times they land. A lot of times they land really well. They're very funny. But I've told him this numerous times. The best stuff that he makes is when he isn't trapped by his own sense of humor.
Hmm.
And for like the first half of Pep 2, none of that's there, and it's so good. And then when it happens later in the album, it feels earned.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like track 1 of Fep 2, I had on loop the other day. It's so fucking good. Please put those on, and when a little ways down the line, maybe have David on for one of these. He'd love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know he hasn't had a whole lot of like attention in your matchup reactions overall. Uh I don't know what necessarily to recommend, because a lot of them require like you have to know what you're getting into when you pick up a David Omario project.
Yeah.
Lucky Number 7's really good. The one after that, is that Mass Exodus? Mass Exodus is really good. Self Indulgence really good. Those last three main David projects all really solid. And then there's Fep 1 and 2, very, very, very good. And not just because I'm on one.
Yeah.
David really just like nailed my taste in those, because it's all very like Daft Punk and Justice focused, because
Yeah.
French House. Yeah, a lot of fun. David's great.
But yeah, that's actually all of the topics I have. So I am going to say to everyone listening, thank you so much for listening. This is the very first episode of Winter Talks. This is going to be a series that I am very happy to do. As I said, I'm going to be with creators from all across the different spaces, voice actors, musicians, people like this that are just batshit crazy for some of their content.
Hey, Winter.
Thank you.
Winter. Hey,
Trix.
Winter. Hey. Is it too late to rebrand to my funny pun?
Which one?
Winter views.
Yes, it is. It is too late
Okay,
because
that's
your
fair.
husband made the logo.
Okay.
Anyway, so thank you so much, Trixie, for taking the time in your day and in your schedule to do this. It's really been a blast.
Thank you for having me. We need to hang out more.
Yes, absolutely. I think I need to hang out more individually with everybody in the group, because y'all are just amazing people. So, to our audience, if you like what you saw here, leave a like. Comment below what you thought of our conversations, all the subjects in the conversations that we talked about. Trixie, you have like 15 seconds to say anything you want to, promote anything you want to. Go.
I'm not going to promote anything. Love yourself or else.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's it. Yeah. So I suppose that's about
Bigger
it from
picture,
us.
bigger picture, bigger than us.
All right, that's about it from us. And as always, peace in due time.
A Horso.